Yeah, so we will start shortly, and we are going to begin with the introduction of the panel and myself. Let me. Um, Hi. So first of all, I would like to introduce um, Dr. Sneha Sharma, who is a coach, personal coach, and she will give a short introduction. Over to you, Sneha.
All right, thank you very much, Jigar. Hi, everyone. Good evening, and thank you for tuning in. And I am Dr. Sneha Sharma, and I'm a career spotlight coach. I help people in building their personal brands and being able to craft a niche for themselves and achieve the spotlight in their careers. Looking forward to add some value in today's session. Over to you, Jigar.
Thank you, Sneha. So, second, we have um, Bipanjeet with us, who is a founder of Digiwah and CEO as well. And over to you, sir. Quick
Thank you,
introduction.
Jigarjit, and welcome, Dr. Sneha. Hello, good evening, everyone. Hope you all had an excellent day today. From the ones who have joined from Asia, I think the day is over now. And from those who are joining it from Western countries, I hope you will have an amazing day today. So, I am an entrepreneur from last 26 years, and uh, I'm a founder and director of Digiwah Technosis LLP, where we provide IT solutions, and particularly our niche is in WhatsApp automations. So today, I think it's the time to unwind and relax because today's talk will be bringing a lot of clarity in you. So I am thrilled about it. Hope you all are also excited too. Yeah, Jigarjit, please.
Thank you, Bipinji. So before we dive into today's session, I will introduce myself as well. So for those who have joined and don't know me, I'm Jigarjit Singh, and I'm the founder of JW Infotech, and it is IT services company. We mainly focus on AI integration at the moment with the of softwares and website applications. So that is about me and my company. We will quickly jump into the questions for today. Today's topic we are taking up is mastering goals and talent strategies for leaderships as well as individuals looking for certain goal setting and those things. So, first question is to you, Bipinji. How do you see like actively realistically setting up certain goals? I would say, like, you as an entrepreneur must have felt many a times that you need to set goals for yourself as an individual. You might have helped others set goals. So how do you do that?
Thank you, Jigarjit, for asking me about this because this is something which is close to my heart. Because what I'm going to share with you today is I have learned it from 3 or 4 sources, mentors, and actually implemented in my organization. I hope you will allow me 5-10 minutes in continuity to talk about this because this is something which is holistic and which involves 3 or 4 steps which I'll be sharing with you. Because if I missed out something, that will not become, you will not relate it with the goal setting approach. So as I said, I will cover this topic in 3-4 steps. But before that, I would like to ask the some questions to my audience. Now, can the audience write that in their chats?
Yes, on LinkedIn, Bipanji, they will be able to write on the chat. Like they can leave comments
Okay,
to our live video.
okay. So, uh, so my first question is: how many of you set goal have already set the goal for 2025 in January this year?
Uh, so let's see if we get some responses for that.
So, anyways, when we'll get a response, I get to know. Uh, so, I'll share my story with this. When I used to set a goal, if I pick up my diary of 10 years ago, I can laugh upon watching it because in every diary, the first few pages of January were my goals written on it, which actually never saw the day of light of the day. Sorry, because I was also because I was not doing a goal setting. I was just creating a wish list, which never got fulfilled. So the reason was that the process for setting up the holistic goals was not followed by. So I was just wishing it. Okay, I'll achieve this this year. I'll achieve that this year. But by the end of that year, I was at the same place where I started. So now I'll try to explain uh, how the goals should be set and what we need to do before even before setting up that goal. We need to actually pre-prepare for the goal setting. Jigarjit, if you can present that slide which I gave it to you, it's
Sure, sure.
already, yeah.
Yes, I'm sharing it. It should be on the screen
Yeah,
now.
yeah. So this is the pre-preparation we need to do for goal setting. See, we need to set up our clear vision before and bring it down on paper before we even start thinking of our desired goals. Uh, Here you can see we need to answer a few questions. First thing is we need to identify our core values, and we need to know that what our core focus is. See, the core values are the basically the traits that we and our leadership team possess. Uh, we need to identify them, list them out, and choose at least 5 to 7 common traits that will become our core values. So, why these are important, I'll explain you later. And the core focus is basically what your vision, mission, niche is all about. So like my niche is WhatsApp automation, so it's clear, and we know that what our core focus is. So why these are important? Because they bring clarity into your thought process. Your every decision will be based upon your core values and the core focus. Now, the next thing you need to do is you have to set a long term target, preferably 10-year target. So, this should be, I think, way beyond your comfort zone. I mean, you should have jitters when you think about that target. So, it should be beyond your imagination, but somehow you should have a belief in it. मतलब that should be achievable. मतलब from your inner core, at least you should be clear that you may or you can achieve that goal in next 10 years. So the next thing you need to do is coming down to the next 3 years. You need to visualize yourself where your what is your 3 year picture, where you'll be in the next 3 years. Then you need to set up the marketing strategy first. Now what we often do is we set up our goals and then we start thinking about, okay, now this should be our marketing strategy that can achieve goal, but it should be other way around. You need to have a marketing strategy first. My point is that if you are setting up a goal and you have not thought about your marketing strategy till now, then it is most likely that it will not happen at all, because marketing takes time, and the goal will remain as it is if you have not set up it beforehand. So finally, you need to identify which three unique things you have in you or your organization. These unique features will differentiate you from others and will be part of your every marketing message. Now, for those who are attending or who run their organizations, they can easily relate all these things with their organization and they set up the vision of their organization. But even if you are an individual or you are doing some kind of job or that, you can also relate all these things with your individual approach. Uh, you can set up your core values, like the core values can be like what is your, matlab, uh, integrity, your reliability, and such traits which you can find out in yourself that these are my core values, and you need to stick around that. Now, when you have a clear vision, you need to communicate to it to the entire organization. If you are looking it up at as an organization, it should be communicated well with entire organization. And then now is the time to move to set up your yearly goals, and then we'll break them down to quarterly goals. Uh, but wait, the magic is not actually just magic doesn't happen just in setting up the vision. We actually need to just give me a moment. Ah, so we actually need to have an holistic approach for goal setting. So I'll come to that in my next slide. But before that, I wanted to just let you know that our goals should be smart goals. So I think everyone understands what are smart goals. Uh, as for specific, it should be measurable, the goal should be achievable, the goal should be realistic and time bound. Now, there's no point setting up a goal which you know that you cannot achieve in this coming year, and if you are setting it up, uh, I don't think so that you will get a motivation to achieve that goal even. So now in the next slide, now here is the actual magic that happens. So here what you are seeing is a tree, basically, uh, which in which you can see that the fruits which are hanging are the financial goals. So we what we do is we often set up three types of goals only. One is financial goals, other is relationship goals, and the third one is health goals. So I'll take up today only financial goals because we are talking in terms of organization or in our career perspective only. So financial goals is what matters in today's talk. So if we see this picture thoroughly, so you are seeing that the financial goals are the actually the fruits which are hanging with that tree. Now, I have learned this thing from Rajiv Talreja by attending few of his programs. We all know financial goals can be related to our kind of turnover, uh, capital money, expenses, or in a career perspective, our salaries and the whatever career advancement we would like to achieve in finance. So, but in the organization perspective, if we are setting just a financial goal and we are not taking care of the other goals which are uh, related to that goal, so we'll most likely will not be able to achieve what we actually want to achieve. So let me explain you. The other goals are customer goals, department goals, team goals, learning goals, which are associated with it. Now, if I go on reversing it, we can see that for getting a good, healthy, desired fruit, we need strong branches of a tree. and that strong branches are our customers. So where that fruit actually grows, and we need to set up goals for that even. So our customer goals could be like exploring new personas or new markets that will help us get close to our financial goals, or anything which is related to the customers, because they are ultimately going to bear that fruit. So now that strong branches, we need to have a strong, healthy trunk of that tree as well. Now, what is that trunk? The trunk is our departments. We all broadly have 7 departments in our organization. Uh, they are marketing, sales, operations, accounts, HR, R&D, and management. So what we need to do is we need to set up individual goals for each department. For example, for marketing, it can be the lead generation goal. For sales, it can be the number of unit sales. For operations, it can be efficiency goals, and likewise. So my point here is that if you uh, if you are setting only financial goal, and you don't know the goals of your sales team, and you don't set up the goals of your marketing team, how will they achieve that goal? See, it's simply telling that them the number, oh, be okay, this number is we are going to achieve, uh, will not do the magic. So now comes the root of our organization, which is our team, basically. We need to set up team goals as well. Uh, Here, the ones who have joined with a career perspective, they can also relate it with that. Uh, we need to set up team goals, like when we are thinking of our growth. Do we have a right people in the right seats? uh, when will we be required to expand our department teams? So now, to match that goal, we need to think of our teams as well. Are our team capable of doing that, or is my team sufficiently equipped, or whatever which is required, we can make it as a goal. Now, if we go a little deeper, we can set up goals for individual team members as well. Or if the team is capable enough, we can ask them to set up their goals that will help to achieve the organization goals. So now this will bring the inclusivity. They'll be they themselves, the team will be setting up their goals that will ultimately achieve organization goals. Now, last but not the least, we need to set up learning goals as well, which are seeds that will help the tree to germinate. We are not superhumans, actually. Uh, as an organization owner, we don't have every kind of knowledge beforehand. So what we need to do is we need to learn many things on this journey, and we can't do it alone either. So we need to identify and set up the goals for who is going to learn what and when, in order to achieve our holistic goal. So, for the organization owners, there's one thing which needs to be highlighted and cautioned here, that while we are making list of goals for any type of goals, matlab, for any department, for any individual or whatever, you need to pick up only top 2 or 3 of the list and include them in your goal setting. If any of these 2 or 3 goals are achieved in between that year, you can add in between that year, you can add any of the remaining, else keep them for next year, because there's no point you take a whole list of goals and you achieve half of them, and you know that the others are not achievable, so don't take them basically into your goal settings. So now comes the last part. Let me show you the other slide. Now, this is also very important. See, if we are setting up goals, and we are doing so much hard work. See, you have already seen that we how much work we need to do for setting up that goal. We have already set up the goals and done the hard work, but there need to be we need to keep track of our performance on weekly basis. Otherwise, we'll not be able to achieve neither the quarterly goals nor the annual goals. So what we can do is we need to have a weekly leadership meeting. In that meeting, the agenda should be fixed. We need to report our numbers of the week, whatever we choose to be the key parameters or key numbers, like sales or marketing or whatever we want to have. We can have 10 to 15 KPIs that we need to track on weekly basis. So we need to report that numbers every week. We need to share our milestones. So if we are meeting every week, so we'll be achieving a very small chunks of goals every week. So we need to share that, okay, this milestone has been achieved, this needs to be achieved. Now, this is again, next thing is very important, IDS. This is because since we are running an organization, or even in a small department or small organization, or uh, in a very small set of people, we always have issues. So what we need to do is, on weekly basis, we need to identify those issues, we need to discuss it along with our leadership team, and we need to timely resolve them. So, whatever the issues are arriving within that week, you need to resolve them as soon as possible in your weekly meetings. Now, finally, we can do what we can do is we can prepare a to-do list for the next week, so that we keep track on our progress again on weekly basis. Next week we are again going to discuss. Okay, now this was my to-do list. This I have done within this week. So that's from me on this, Jigarjit. You can please continue with your.
Thank you very much, Bipanjeet. It was a very informative and insightful conversation, and you put in so much effort for a session today. You present like broad slides from your own side, and they were very insightful in itself. So, coming to you, Sneha. So, as Bipinji talked mostly about how goals can be set as a team, and how each individual can be held accountable to those goals. Like, I think that comes from a perspective of greater vision rather than individual goal setting. So let's say I work for Bipinji's company, so I have my individual goals, right? I won't be becoming CEO soon, but I need to grow up the career ladder from intern joining into the organization to become the vice president of the organization. So how do you see, and how do you help people set these goals as individuals and as a career coach? Even like, I think when we go into the personal branding perspective, so you might be helping some founders as well setting goals in their lives, right? So can you put some light on these things?
Sure. So I think I will try to, I think what Sir showed the very first slide. First of all, I have learned a lot, Bipinji, from what you just shared. I mean, at times, something brings a lot of clarity, because this is exactly what we as coaches, want people to understand. So if I look this at like a perspective of a job seeker, so I think the 6 steps that Sir mentioned, I think they are exactly what you need to be doing even to set your personal goal. Let's say you're a job seeker. Very simple. So the first thing he said was core values. So even before thinking about a job, forget about applying for a job, forget about making a resume. Even before that, the first thing is to understand, what is it that I really want. Do I want to have work life balance? Do I want to have professional growth? Do I want to make x amount of money? Do I want to go to a particular place? Do I want to have some talent opportunity, some learning opportunity? That is your core value through which you are driven. Everyone is not driven by money, and few people are driven by, the position they are given, the control they are given, rather than the money that they are given. So knowing that is, the self analysis part. That is the first thing you do. Once you do that, then you start, getting in and trying to understand ki, okay, now these are my core values. Now what are those maybe two unique things, right, which sir took as the sixth step, which for an organization, but for an individual it could come a little early, that okay, for me, what are those two unique strengths, two unique skill sets that I want to use in being identified for a particular company amongst other candidates. Even if you're already working for the same position, a manager has 10, team workers, so how would you get chosen? So that is step number 2. Third is, what is your core focus? What is the kind of role, what is the kind of industry you want to pick up? People would come to me, we need a job. No, you don't need a job. This is a very vague answer. You need a job in banking industry, you need a middle level management job, you need a fresher level job, you need a, higher level management job. That focus has to be known, then only you can be able to achieve anything. Then you come down to your vision. Vision is where you, like sir also said, for a company it is like, where do you see yourself in, maybe coming next couple of years. So similarly, what is your vision? Do you see yourself to a leadership position? Do you see yourself making some amount of money, again related to your core values? And finally, for a organization, it's marketing strategy. For an individual, it is your LinkedIn strategy, your LinkedIn profile. Is it communicating what you have collaborated, so that when a recruiter sees you, is he able to make out ke, ha, okay, this is Sneha, and Sneha does this, this is her vision, these, she's driven by these things, this is her thought leadership. That is how I think a goal is definitely accomplished. And sir very clearly said, and I also agree, smart goals is definitely, the way that everything in life has to be achieved. There is no doubt about that. But before that, until unless you do not do a self analysis, a smart goal will not get automatically achieved. Even after pushing yourself, you might, find yourself not being able to achieve that. So I think the core aspects of building your goals remains the same, and it all begins with self analysis. Over to you, Jigar. Thank you.
Thank you, Sneha. That was really insightful. So, what I gather from here is first, we need to actually have certain goals. Once we identify those goals and align them with a vision, may it be an individual or may it be an organization, then we need to somehow keep a track of the things we are doing. So, that, yeah. So,
Yeah, so
that
just
helps.
one more thing that I would like to add, just because you said track, I missed on that part. So when we say track of goals, not tracking is also, it can only function when you know where do you want to go. You can only track the progress once you know what you want to achieve. Tools are there. You have Google Sheet, you have Trello. There's so many things that you could use, but the implementation would come. And I was reading somewhere, I read an article somewhere where the monday.com was specifically highlighting that there's a 40% increase in the way you achieve your goals if you are better at tracking them. But then again, tracking will work in your favor if you know what is it that you're doing. Is it 100 crores, is it 10 crores, is it 10 lakh, what is the target? Thank you. Over to you.
Yeah. Sneha, that was a very wonderful point. I wanted to lay emphasis on that. So, until and unless, so I let me dive into this in a story way. So, a real story. So, what happened was maybe let's talk about 2015. I was running my organization in a very open manner, I would say. We didn't set any goals. We were just moving as the flow took us. Though we were revenue wise very sufficient and the company was growing, but still there was a gap, very big gap, which took me long enough to understand until we have goals which align with our mission and vision of the company itself. So it wouldn't make sense. So I started setting goals in 2016 or so, I remember. But until 2019, so we created goals. I don't think so we achieved more than 30% of those goals because we weren't tracking the progress. So without tracking the progress, I don't think so goals we can set as many as we want, so we can try to be Bill Gates, next Bill Gates, but until and unless we have the step, uh, like the steps to actually reach there, I don't think so we will be able to do it. Very nice explanations and like I would say insightful, both of you. Coming to the next question, I would say for both of you, like For Sneha, I would say, if we say that in when you are doing certain projects, right, with a team, I would say, not individually, you are helping them groom the team into a successful team. So what are the key tips you give to the founders when you see micromanagement in place? We will come with the same question to Bipinji as well, but first, Sneha, to you.
Okay, so I think micromanagement is, I don't see micromanagement as a problem unless you are not working in a team. So when you're working in a small group, I think micromanagement brings clarity. But when you're trying to take it to the next level, when you're trying to expand, I think at that time, if we, indulge in micromanagement, it will not let your employees present themselves to their, they will not be able to achieve what they are actually capable of. So for ensuring, avoiding micromanagement, I would say the first thing is setting clear expectation. As a leader, I can only stop micromanagement if I know that this is what I expect from these 15 people in my team. And then I give them the ownership. Once you give them the ownership, that is where a micromanagement actually ends. That I've given this task to this person, and now I agree, I believe that they would do it. So that brings us to the second point, which is delegation. That you delegate appropriately, you empower your team with, the right tools. You give them everything they need, but then you let them do it, which is the delegation part. Once that is done, you need a watchdog, so check-ins, meetings, which is for support as well as for clarification of any doubts. When that happens, I think that can also be used as a great way of not having micromanagement and still being impactful. So I think that is how I would, probably, if I had to do it, I this is how I do with my team currently. Bipin ji can definitely add more, inputs on this of managing a bigger team, and probably you also, Jigarjit. Over to you both of.
Bipinji, to you.
Yeah.
So let's see, how do you manage your team and how you can give those tips before
See,
I add on to that.
see these what I have shown you in the weekly meetings. So these weekly meetings have really done magic for me. So this has changed everything in my organization. So as I said before, our entire leadership team have a weekly to-do list, and we discuss with them in every week on week basis. So the accountability sets in automatically. So when we are taking up the issues, we are discussing them, and we are talking about what we are going to do next and whatever. So automatically it happens that someone of us, in fact, in the leadership team, someone takes the responsibility and the ownership of that task. Now in that way, you really don't need to micromanage the things. You just observe, okay, now the one who has taken the ownership will be responsible for answering next week, okay, that I have done this and I have done that, and or this has been missed or this has been achieved, whatever it is happening. So everyone is a human, in fact. So whatever their capabilities, they'll achieve. Now the same system is replicated to the department wise as well. Now there is always a department leader. Then we have the other team members in that department. But if you apply the same system in that department also, the same thing start happens in that very department as well. And so it is like a not micromanaging, and it is like delegating all, as well. So it happens automatically with the system. So that's my uh, one cent.
It was more than just fun, Vipinji. So I would say, as you mentioned, like weekly meetings, and what I do is, for me, what has worked so far is having one-on-ones
Yeah.
with each one. So it's not just team meetings. So sometimes what happens is, we try to indulge too much in some ineffective meetings, I would say, and the results are not that good. So for me, what has worked is having one-on-one sessions with the individuals, and less of team meetings. at times, because for me, I'm trying to like run my operations based on cogwheels, so they should be working when I am not there. So for that, I prepare my team individually so that they can do their task properly, and everything goes as planned. So that is
So
what
let
has
me
worked
let
for
me
me.
add you one more
And
thing. We also do
yes,
one-to-one
go ahead.
meetings, and we do that on monthly basis. So the agenda of that meeting is purely on that individual's performance. So we discuss that, we
Hmm.
share the feedback and all that. That is a separate thing. But on weekly basis, we have a fixed agenda. Okay, we'll talk about only the organization. See, it's very important to keep track. See, if we want to achieve the quarterly goal, or if we want to achieve that monthly goal, if we are on track every week, so we'll be knowing that okay, we are achieving. If we are off the track, again we'll be knowing that we are not going to achieve this thing. So that way weekly meetings are really, it's a just 1.5 hour meeting, and it's very fixed agenda, matlab not more than that, not less than that, no other talking and all that, only discussions. So that way it works for me very well.
Absolutely. And I would also like to add that when you do tracking, one thing that happens is you celebrate the wins. So,
Yeah,
in a team, I mean, it's the leadership style. It just varies for maybe each one of us. So if, some few people are able to perform and achieve your goals, at times it just motivates the other set to, accomplish the small gap which is left. So I think that's a great way of celebrating, because achieving a goal is actually something which we do not do that in personal goals. We just don't do it. So my target when I started LinkedIn was, okay, let me hit 10,000 followers, 20,000 followers. And now I don't even bother to see, because now that goal has lost its, the whole shiny syndrome is no more there. So but I still feel that when you celebrate your small wins, it just gives you the push to go to the next level, to achieve the next one. So that happens. And I think I mean, I always I like probably I believe in doing group meetings for felicitating people, motivating them, and yeah, going one to one when there is a positive or some,
yeah.
criticism originated feedback where they need some improvement, so that they are able to change that. So that's how I probably work around as of now. Thank you for the few. Thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, moving, we have very less time, it seems. I could have kept this session for 4 hours because we are trying to, like, I think the insights we are bringing are very, like, original, authentic, and they are coming from our own experiences, I would say. Like, I think all of us have been in the industry for quite some time now, and we all have our own ways of doing things, but I think the audience will be having a load of insights. So coming to the next question, I would say, now let's go to talent acquisition, because we had to give insights in both the directions, and we have just given insights in strategies, what can we do and how can we set goals. So moving on to talent acquisition, Bipinji, first to you. So what do you see in the talent, l- coming from the fresher perspective? Let's say the we have a lot of colleges around our area. We have you might have been to colleges across India. So what do you feel that is the, like, the new age uh, people who are coming into the workforce? Are they ready for the jobs? Are they able to do the jobs as um, we were doing it, maybe I can call it, long time back? Or like, what's the situation right now?
See, what I would appreciate about the coming generation, what we call it as Gen Z, what we call generation that,
Yes, we call
Gen Z.
Gen Z, and now Alpha is also there. So let's
So,
say, go with Z.
what I'll appreciate about them is they have a lot of clarity. Uh, so when
Hmm.
we were looking out our career opportunities, again, like Dr. Sneha said that we are looking for job. So I, when I started business in 1998, I just had one thing in my mind: I will do business. So I don't know what kind of
Mhm.
business I'm going to do. I didn't knew anything ABC of that business. My family was not in any business. So matlab, this was something big. So it took a lot of time to learn the things and evolve around that. So what I appreciate about this generation is that they have clarity. So coming down to what we look into, that is three things we look, actually we qualities which we find, which we try to find it out in them, and these are basically the attitude, again the core values, and the motive. Now attitude, we ask them a few star questions, like you understand star questions, we provide them situation, and then based upon the task, action, and result that followed that answer. So we try to analyze, okay, what kind of attitude that person possess. And again core values, we try similar techniques to identify the core values. Now if that core values are matching with our core values, so then we consider that candidate. So motive, again motive is something that drives that person to take up that job role. So we just try to identify these things in the interview, and if the things are matching, so I think my experience is that the person goes long way ahead with us. It's not only internship jobs or just beginning of the career, and they leave after learning things and all that. That doesn't happen. But uh, this is also my experience, and the learning. Uh, when we hired the persons without matching that core values, they left after 3 or 4 months. So even we were like, we okay,
Mhm.
we are not going to continue with this person and or that person. So this is, I think, the crux, that we try to match the core values of that person with our, and if that matches, the thing happens. So that's from me.
So that is how you build the connection with the team, and you feel that new generation is better in certain ways with their mindset, and
Of
they have
course.
more clarity. That
Yeah, of
is
course.
what you're saying. Okay. Sneha, to you. So you have, I think, you have more experience with the Gen Z than us. I'm just suspecting. I'm not sure. It's from your LinkedIn. I got that viewpoint. I have seen a lot of your pictures with the college students and like in auditoriums with them. So, what do you think? Are they like more ready for jobs, or do they need
Hmm.
direction to get a proper job?
I think, to be very honest, it's a variation that you see across tier one, tier two, and tier three. That is the first thing that is there. So I mean, I can't really see all of them in a single frame. They are not in the single frame. Everyone, even from Gen Z, is coming from very different gradients in the society. One thing which is good about all Gen Z is they have the proficiency with technology. So they are open. That is the first thing. Second, they are also open to learning. That's also a good thing. Third, I feel they are very nicely put up by Bipin sir, and that is why it works in his favor, is matching the values. So this generation is somewhat value driven. They would pick up a project based on what does it match with their vibe, the term that they use, does it match with the vibe that they want to create. So uh, but I still feel that despite of few of things which are in their favor, there is a set of them who's very clear. They are clear from their school days that this is what I want to do, this is the place where I want to do, and they very nicely setting up their goals, achieve it. But then there is another set of Gen Z which is lost in the FOMO. They are lost in the FOMO, they are lost in the fear of missing out, lost in imposter, and lost and Chinese syndrome. So they are the ones who are, completely confused. So when I take sessions, that is the first thing I tell them, that stop looking out what somebody else at your age has achieved. It doesn't matter. Their story is not your story. You carve yours. So because of so much of technology, which is, in their hands every moment, it's very difficult for them not to get distracted. So despite of the fact that technology is their biggest asset, but for few of them it is, the biggest impediment that is stopping them from achieving what they desire for. So I see them struggling in terms of fixing a goal for them. They want to do everything, they want to have everything. They don't there's a lack of prioritization. There is a time for everything. You can't do everything at the same goal. There's some kind of prioritization which comes into picture. And I think once they understand that, then the Gen Z is that, they would end up becoming the top performers in your team, because then they're sorted. They know what they have to achieve, how they want to achieve, and then they are in the learning mode. So very quick respond.
Mm.
But a couple of things are there which I feel this generation is a little bit struggling. So they need help, and that is the reason why we go there and try to bring some clarity, help them in, grasping them their own selves, which is the self analysis part, which I think they're struggling a bit with.
So I would like to add,
Okay.
uh, see, there's a lot of noise around. Uh, uh, until unless we have not defined our core focus, we will be we'll be getting distracted with this, with that. We'll be having every kind of FOMO. Okay, this is happening in the world, that is happening in the world. I must also do that. But if you are very clear upon your core focus, you are likely not to get distracted. So this is my focus. Okay, I'll work. Whatever I will do, I will do this around this thing only. So I think we should have an appetite to ignoring many things and enjoy JOMO instead of a FOMO. JOMO, you understand, joy of missing
Mm.
out. So we need to have that appetite as well.
Yeah. Very insightful. S- So let's say we have the Jomo now. So we like missing out things and we prioritize things which we like. Bipinji, so when we are, you mentioned about aligning that people stay with you for a long time and you check it during the initial phase if they are a good fit or not. So can we dive a bit deeper for the audience? Like, I think we have some founders joining us today. So can you like quickly give us a bit of deeper dive into that? Like how you, what are the qualities you are looking for in the people you want to stay with you for like
Yeah,
long
yeah,
term?
yeah. So, as I told you before, that we try to match out the core values with our core values. Now,
Sorry, Bipinji, I'm cutting. What can you like give us such examples of those
yes,
core
yes,
values
yes, yes, yes.
while you say?
So, my company's core values are these are integrity, reliability, trustworthiness. We are welcoming.
Mhm,
Uh, we try to do the things exceptionally. Uh, we are
mhm,
spirited, and we are a bit innovative as well. So these are my core values. If I don't find these in the other person, at least we try to match five of the things out of seven, so that the remaining two we can give the chance to that person. Okay, you develop this, you develop that, or we can mentor that person, we can train that person. So at least we try to match that five values. Now it happens automatically. See, there is no you can say that you don't have to do much about anything if that values match. Now the team which is stick with me for long now, for a few years now. So they, what I this I identified actually later, because the technique which I showed you today, this is not a very old technique which I was applying from a long time. This I started doing just a couple of years back, and now I identified that okay, why they are with me, so why they are going along with me. So because the same traits which we possess as an organization, or I possess, or whatever, the same traits they are also possessing. So that you can say that chemistry is very important. So when this chemistry matches, uh, the people go a long way with you.
Mhm. And Sneha, when you are teaching, like
Hmm.
coaching people to be better selves, I would say. So, what qualities do you think, or which values you have identified so far, which go a long way? It doesn't matter if they are the company's core values or
Hmm.
not, but I think in your career you might have understood those values, and you might have a set of values. What would
So
that
to be
be?
very honest about it, Jigarjit, I do not emphasize a lot on identifying the values, because the group I work with for training, for them, the moment you say the word values, उनका दिमाग फ्यूज आउट. They like, what are you talking about? Personal values क्या इसमें क्या होता है? They're not able to relate with that word. Now, 5 years from now, they will be able to relate, but right now they're not able to identify that what are the values that I want to be very identified with. This I'm talking about not Gen Z, but somewhat Gen Y, which is the people who are right now struggling to be able to fit in what they want to do. How I help them identify them is knowing what are their core skills that they want to be known for. Because when you think as a job seeker, na, the word which resonates with them is the skills. And skills is something that I want them to identify, that okay, my skill is I am somebody who is a team worker. That's a skill. I am somebody who's a problem solver. That's a skill. I am somebody who has empathy in everything I do. That's a skill. That could also be a value. But for them to understand, all these three are actually values. Collaboration, teamwork is a value.
Yes.
Empathy is actually a value. But if you tell them, they'll be like, what are you saying? I mean, how do we really find that out? So I don't give them a word which, actually doesn't work for them. I tell them to identify the skills in them, and for that, I just tell them, visit your 10 years of life, see what are the achievements you've had, and see the skills you've used in those achievements. It will come out very clearly that every time you won in life, whether in a professional or a personal way, it was the usage of these three, four skills that you're a master of. And these skills are your strengths. These are the
Mhm.
super strengths. And when you identify these super strengths, you won't believe the terms will come out to be exactly same to what Bipanji wants them to, relate with. Sustainability, excellence, compassion, loyalty, all these are actually the value systems which they
Exactly.
actually get when they are able to identify their skill sets or their strengths, as I call them. So when they're able to do that, I think then, because I tell them that, okay, before you go for a company, read the company's website, go and read the mission and vision statement. What is the purpose? The purpose is for them to understand that what is the value that this company is driven by. What do they really believe in? Because if they do not believe in the same thing, you will not gel up. Like sir said, chemistry will not match. You will feel something is not right. You might be making a lot of money, but you'll not like the culture because it's not matching the vibe. So I think when you identify that,
Mhm.
then you become, because I have worked with organizations as long as a decade, and I'm still continuing as a consultant with them because there's a vibe match. I know I would never leave them, they
Mhm.
would never leave me, because we are on the same lines of thinking. The moment the thought changes, if I change as a personality or the organizational thought changes, of course then the game is different, then it restarts. But otherwise, I think once you identify these aspects, so coming back to your question that you asked, that what are those values that the students or the job seekers can relate with, they are similar to what Bipanji talked as values: integrity, where you're being honest; accountable, where you take the ownership that yes, I'm going to do my work; empathy, where you take everyone along; being innovative is a great value; then being like I said, collaborative is a great value. So these are a couple of common things which people will relate to as a skill, as well as a strength, and of course as a value system. Thank you.
Mhm. Yeah, so taking a lot from both of your conversations. So I'm thinking, let's say now a person has those skills, and Bipinji, he has the values in the form, we have identified this person to be a cultural fit. So how do we identify, is that person a, like both a technical fit and a cultural fit, or how do we weigh these things? So let's say the person only has technical skills, and he has three values 100%, two values maybe 10-20%. So in those cases, how do you manage the hiring process, like the talent acquisition, I
See,
would say?
the skills and the techniques that can be trained, that the person can learn later on. But the other things which are related to attitude, that cannot be changed in anyone. So, in my opinion, if the
Mhm.
core values are not matching and the techniques and skills are matching, and until unless we are not something like we are desperate about, we are okay, we need a person here right now, until unless we don't do that hiring. Our first priority is again identifying the traits. If they are matching, we never try to improve those traits. We never mentor them. Okay, you should be very honest. You should be that. You should be that. Because what they are, they will be the same after 5 years or 10 years as well. Even if they are working for you, even if they are working for not working for you, they'll be same persons. So we don't try to teach them. We don't see what we can best do is, if the person is not person is the values are matching, but the person is not that skilled, we can train that person. We can help that person mentor. We can help that person attain that skills from a senior or from any other source, whatever it can be. So we try to do that.
For both of you, so now it's just a one word answer I'm looking for here. So what one skill or value you both would keep on the topmost priority, I would say? May it be in hiring, or may it, when you meet a person, Sneha, so you see a
Problem
value, right?
solving. If you're a problem solver, you have everything. You'll win it all. If right now, if you're a job seeker, so I talk to job seekers majorly. You need to be a problem solver. In and out, you have to be a problem solver. With problem solving, how you solve a problem, that's a very different story. That will have a lot of implications to make. Then your integrity and everything will come into picture. But if you're not a problem solver, that's a skill. It's not a value. It's a skill which you need to have. If I had to choose a value, I'm giving you a second word, I'm sorry, that would be integrity. So, integrity and
Okay.
a problem solver, you're a perfect match. Until unless the organization doesn't believe in these two systems, then there is a mismatch. Otherwise, you're a great fit for any cultural place, anywhere you'll fit in.
So same from me as well.
Okay.
Integrity is the topmost priority, which we look into that, because
Yep.
without any ethics or without being if my organization is have possesses that integrity, how can I deal with the person who is not having do not possess that attitude or that you can say that value, and how will they bring on integrity to my organization? So this is the topmost thing, which integrity, which we look into. And again, what Dr. Sneha said, that the problem solving should be there, but that is again, if that is a skill that can be taught, that can be mentored. Okay, these are the techniques by which you can
Hmm.
solve the problems. So that can be discussed later on as well, but without integrity, nothing. Yeah.
Okay, so what I see in our conversation so far is that we are, all three of us are more emphasizing on the cultural fit aspect of an individual rather than like technical skills. Because even I believe in the same things, and while I do the hiring, so um, to be honest, I don't care about the technical skills at first. So in 6 months, if you are not able to learn
Yeah,
anything,
that,
that is a different thing. But I give you 6 months if you are a cultural fit. So uh, my first priority goes to cultural fit myself. Coming back to the questions and the knowledge I am trying to dig out of both of you, as such, for our like audience here. um, are there certain trends which we can see as US recession is going down the drain? It is reviving, I would say. So, Bipinji, this is mostly for you. Some part of it will also be for Dr. Sneha, but Bipinji, mostly to you. That what trend do you see in the job market? Do you see easy availability of workforce? Do you see easy availability of work itself? And what's the like the market situation according to you?
uh, well, these both are not easy. It's very certain. So when you try to look out for the talent, you don't get that talent very soon. So it's like a very lucky matchmaking. Okay, we have got a right person for the right thing, and at the right time. So it is not that easy. It is very difficult. So otherwise, on the other side, we see that there are a lot of people who are looking for jobs, who would want to get hired, but on our side what we see is that okay, we need that person and we are not getting that person. It takes months to get the right person. So it's not easy, and the same is for work. There's high competition in everything. See, I don't deal much in the US markets, but I'll talk about the Indian market as well. See, there is a huge demand for technology adoption, because small businesses, they are all lacking technology. They have not had. But on the other hand, there's huge resistance as well to apply that technology. So that makes my job difficult. But again, what I take it as that my job is to get the people aware. Once they feel like okay, now I'm aware, got aware, and now I feel like okay, this is what is required. So that person automatically come back to me. Okay, now we are ready for these things. Now this happens often, so I don't take much, you can say, that stress about this thing, but I keep on go with the flow. So again, uh, when we were talking about setting up goals, I set up my goals accordingly as well. I don't try to fetch the moon for sitting here. I just want to be okay that this is achievable, this will lead to our growth, and this is what we need to do. So it is difficult.
Mhm.
If you want to hear it from me that it is easy or difficult, it is, both are difficult.
Okay. And how about you, Sneha? So, any insights into the same question? And of course, it's not IT or technical business for you, but how about
Um,
your business?
so no, my business has no impact, as in because I deal with clients, so I don't employ much people. Basically, it's a skill based thing. So my employees are literally people who are managing. So my skill is where it's a skill based aspect. But when I look at my clients and when they come to me for a job, um, the major problem that has come is that because of artificial intelligence and machine learning, there is a disruption in the market. So the people who are now not adapting are facing the heat. So adapt, so they have to adapt. And then there is another set of people who are into freelancing and the gig economy kind of a thing. So for them, life is not very difficult. People as creators are like making crazy amount of money, which could be a dream for many, right? So the job opportunities are there. I mean, I am amazed, and I show this as a motivation to my clients also, that see, this company did so many layoffs and now this company is again hiring. So layoff has happened because of maybe something which is changing into the strategy, the structure, or something that has happened. So that is a different thing, but this does not freeze the hiring. So, but again, if you do not know what you're capable for, if your brand is not telling others why you should be chosen, so very nicely said by Bipinji also, competition is there. You have to, I mean, I show them that when you apply on Naukri, your probability of getting selected is 1 divided by what, around 1000. So the probability is 0.001, which is less than the probability of you clearing maybe a IIT exam or a UPSC exam. The seats are more. So the probability of clearing the clutter without a brand is very bleak. Opportunities are immense if you're a learner, if you're ready to grow, if you have adapted to artificial intelligence, machine learning, data analytics. I talk to sales and I tell them that sales is no more about selling, sales is about analytics. If you don't understand the trends, what will you do? You can't do anything, and it is applicable to all businesses, including mine for that matter. Because if I don't understand the trend, that what is the client looking for, what is the end organization looking for, if I do not adapt, I will scum. There is no way I can get out of it. So I think adaptation has now become one of the most important aspects, and then creating your brand. And brand can only be created knowing who you are and what is it that you want. So we go back to the goal setting that we started with. So what is your personal goal? Clarity of the personal goal, building your skill set, developing and changing with the environment. There are amazing opportunities. You don't do it, there is no opportunity. There is no opportunity. It's that simple.
See,
I agree.
adaptability is not difficult actually. The
Very
only thing is that why we don't adapt to the situation is that we are not clear about ourselves.
correct.
So whenever you start bringing the clarity in your thought process, you'll start adapting to the things very easily.
Coming to the next question, so this like got from Dr. Sneha's answer that you need to look at analytics. So AI is a buzzword. So how data and AI is being leveraged in maybe talent acquisition per se, and how we can use it in actually making people a good fit for our organizations, or maybe for Dr. Sneha it would be for their clients, making them better fit, I would say. So first, Bipinji, you go ahead. Let's see what you have to answer, because Dr. Sneha gave a hint towards analyzing, so she is doing something already. We will get back to that, but to you.
See, as far as AI is concerned, that we use that thing in our organization in on regular basis. But as far as hiring or talent acquisition is concerned, uh, we are not using it right now. Uh, in future, we may. So I would also like to learn from Dr. Sneha what is her perspective on that, because I cannot say more thing, because we have not used AI in this part of the uh, basically. Yeah. So please, Dr. Sneha.
So I think so, but still, I
So
think every
Sneha, it comes back to you.
yeah, yeah, no worries. I think this is from the perspective of both a job seeker as well as talent acquisition, that we all know that these days the traditional resumes are out. It is the applicant tracking system, so which is the very basic understanding of how things have changed. You cannot reach a human eye if you do not crack the algorithm of applicant tracking system, and it is used by everyone. So if you're uploading your profile on Naukri, if you're uploading your profile on Monster, anywhere in the world, if you're uploading a profile, even if it's a company website, be rest assured it is going into an applicant tracking system, because otherwise going through 10,000 resumes for 10 positions is practically not possible for a human eye, and you can't even think about a chance of 0.001% based on that. So that's why resume screening and shortlisting, we all have adapted very very highly to AI. And I think I read I think one of the articles where Unilever, the company, they are actually using a AI based recruitment tool. So they are using AI driven interviewing platform. So they are cutting short on the whole concept at the very basic level. With they screen the resume, they rank the people based on that, and it helps them reduce their hiring time, because they're not going to hire one or two people, it's going to go in thousands. So it saves the time.
Hmm.
Secondly, where you can use this tool, or where it's already being used by multiple multinationals, which is sourcing of the candidates. right? So you have tools where LinkedIn Recruiter, we are on LinkedIn Live, so LinkedIn Recruiter is a tool which is used, right, where it is a tool which is using artificial intelligence, and it gets you the high potential candidates from over 1 billion users that LinkedIn has. So data analytics for talent pool identification is also coming out to be a very very important way how companies are using it. Then one thing which I always tell my students, that they are like very afraid that, ma'am, how do you really work with the machine? So I'm like, at least the machine is not biased. You can say HR is biased. He's given a importance to this person and not this person. AI is not biased. AI is only looking at keywords. If you're adding them, you're in. If you're not adding them, then you did not do enough research. So you do not have the right to crib about not being able to do it. So bias reduction, I feel, has also happened because of bringing the AI powered tools into the whole ecosystem. So I think these are a couple of ways with which, apart from this, chatbots have become very common, where the very first level of interaction it is happening. There are tools like I think Maya, MYA. That's how I think that's how they pronounce it. It is used for recruiting, where the candidates they interact in real time, and the questions
Mm.
so it drastically reduces the time that your actual human resource is going to spend in talking and getting those very basic questions. So you save a lot of that time. Then you must have seen a lot of YouTube videos where they identify the movement of the retina to check if you actually are solving the question on your own, or are you using some GPT to get you the answer. So they're able to identify
Mm.
everything. Where do you so if you think you can use AI and you feel AI is smarter than you, then AI is smarter than you and you will be replaced. You will be replaced. You have to be smart enough to use AI. That is the
Yes.
time when you will remain
Mm.
in the system. Otherwise, you'll fizzle out. Because there are when the chat GPT came, a GPT-0 automatically came with it, which tells you about the plagiarism, how much content you have written using chat GPT. So, I think it's like believing in your own intelligence. And then this again brings us back to your own value system and the learning core. If you're a learner, you'll adapt. You will not depend. You will use your own intelligence to further substantiate on the available tools. So AI will rather become a tool rather than something on which you depend wholly solely. So I think these are the ways through which I've seen. I mean that these tools are very aggressively used by companies.
Yeah, for bigger companies, it is really important to use such tools, because for smaller organizations like that, we can skip this process. But again, what I feel is, whatever that AI thing may be, whatever you use it, how much you use it, ultimately a human is going to basically deal with the human only. So we are
Very
all emotional human beings. So ultimately that thing will work, not the AI will work. AI will only help us getting through the process. That's it. That's it. Yeah.
absolutely, because one more thing that it also helps companies, if I say big multinational, in retention, in employee retention, because
Yeah.
then they can analyze your historical data as an employee, your job satisfaction surveys, your performance reviews. So there is so much of data. I always tell my job seeker clients that if you are on internet, you have a digital footprint. So don't think whether the company will check me or not. They have softwares in place where they just put your email ID, your usernames, and they will get how many times Sneha Sharma's comments were flagged, how many times did she speak against the community, how many times she did racist remarks. So don't you think they all will be used in analyzing you as an employee? They will. They are. I mean, they are. Not that they will. They are. So IBM uses AI
Mm.
powered models to predict employee attrition, and based on that, they make
Yeah.
retention strategies. So companies are full throttle using it now with DeepSeek. Let's see what happens next because that's another level which has come down in the artificial intelligence world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So DeepSeek and Kimi, I would like to mention both of them. These are
Yeah,
new models which came from China. Not new actually, but they just became the hype recently. They have been. I wrote about it month ago about DeepSeek, mentioning how the founder has actually made a difference. And today, his difference we are able to see all over LinkedIn and news. So, the coming like from your conversation, Dr. Sneha, so I see you mentioned content, creating content, and then you mentioned profiles being scrolled by bots. So what would be the this is for you, Bipinji, as well. What would be the advice you give to people, individuals, freshers, maybe young professionals, maybe founders as well, about personal branding? How important is it, and what kind of content they should be putting on their profiles to get highlighted and then be chosen for their dream jobs, or maybe chosen for the work they like, maybe get some client that way. So to you, Dr. Sneha.
So you'll say, Jigarjit, that Sneha, you keep talking about the same concept in every answer, because this is the core for me. Uh,
Mhm.
Before thinking about anything, the first thing is knowing about self. So know thyself is the beginning. So if I try to fit in, I would fail. But if I am what I am, I will fit in the best where I'm meant to be. That's how I believe. So when you're thinking about creating your personal brand, the first step is going to be getting the clarity. I call it a 3C approach. You have to get the clarity. What is it that I want to talk to people about? So I'm around, now probably around 15 years in this domain. And I did not start as a coach. I started my journey in academia. I was assistant professor, did my PhD from University Business School, completed my retailing PhD, did a diploma in training and development, did corporate trainings, reached to associate professor level. And then I was like, okay, now out of these 7 years of experience, I want to build myself in the next 10 years on this aspect. That is where I chose coaching and training. Not that I didn't love teaching, I love marketing. I still watch ads like crazy. So my family says that you can't watch TV with Sneha, because we see what is coming on the TV, she's going to see ads. So that is the kind of repo that I have in my family when TV comes into picture. But point being, I made a choice, I got that clarity, and I worked on building my skills. So after that clarity, you start building your content. Your skill is your content. And when you say content for a job seeker, it is the resume, it is the cover letter, it is the LinkedIn profile, it is the thank you note, it is the LinkedIn personalized invite you send. What do you write in it? Your brand needs to speak every time you speak. And then once you are able to create that content around yourself, which will only be by inculcating the desired values in skill sets and everything, then you have to start communicating them, where your final authenticity comes out. So I might write a lot of things on my resume. I don't know, somebody shared it on their I think I was reading Radhika Gupte's LinkedIn profile somewhere early in the morning. So she had reposted somebody's post, which was an email of a job seeker, where he was apologizing that, I'm sorry, I did not write my authentic self, but I was struggling, I did not have a job, XYZ, and I'm going to work on your feedback. So if you are not writing correct on your CV and you're trying to befool, you can't. The person sitting on the interviewee as an interviewer knows what the interviewees can do, so they're going to get an answer to that. So communicating your authentic self, and that you can only do when you have the clarity of who you are. So these are the three very clear steps: clarity, build your content, and communicate your content. And do all these three towards a single goal. Very simple process, but if you operate it with this simplicity, it works magic. But if you try to bring in
Mhm.
everything, there's a problem. There's a problem.
That is really nice. So you use three C's: clarity, creating, and
Clarity
communication.
and
So
communication. Yeah.
So, on that note, Bipinji, how do you feel about the same concept? Like, is it important to have a personal
Uh,
brand in
see,
today's world? And do you actually look at the profiles of users, like different profiles? I
see,
mean, not just
it's
LinkedIn.
not important. It's must. So I would say
Okay.
that. Matlab, because
I was like, okay.
it is the must. See, why we buy Reliance product? We know because we know who the Mukesh Ambani brand is. So if he is a brand, if he's behind that, although he will never interact with us, we will never interact with him, but still, okay, we trust that person, we trust that the same thing we do with the Tatas or other things, or Apple or Steve Jobs or whatever you take upon that, you will find a a person, a brand behind that organization always. So matlab, not your organization will not grow until you are not growing uh, as yourself as a personal brand. See, again, I will quote myself that a person is going to deal with a person. So if I'm trusting someone, I'll be trusting upon what he has put across wherever I'm looking at. If I'm looking at a LinkedIn profile, if I'm looking at any other Facebook profile or whatever. So it is again what you have put across, what you are seeing, what you have basically the content should resonate what you are actually inside you. So what you are writing, even if a chat gpt or deepseek or anything, any tool or even meta ai writes for me, so they write what I give them to feed. So I put my feelings in that system, and they basically just refine that and write it in a better way, which I could not, which I cannot as an individual. But again, whatever we are doing it, we are actually doing a personal branding only. And again, you will see if somebody is trusting my organization, it is somehow because the person knows me, or they have interacted with me, or they are actually trusting me, not my organization. Although they will be dealing with my team and all that, whatever is happening, but ultimately it's my personal brand which is working behind. So it happens in every organization, take any. Yeah.
Wonderful. So now we have that we need to have skills, values, and then we need to have personal brand. Okay. So the next question would be not from the audience, of course, from me only. How do you go about it when things get tough? So it is not in our agenda today, but this question I get a lot. So I go around, you have seen me around everywhere, maybe your office Bipanjeet at IIM Punjab, or Dr. Sneha, we have met recently multiple times now. So like when people meet me, so they ask this question very regularly: what are the tips and tricks when things get tougher, or like you get stuck, per se? So let's say we are we have our goal set, we are working towards those very diligently, we are tracking them, we are doing everything, and we have a very good personal brand, we get 200 likes on our every post. So what do we do, still we feel stuck? So what are the tips to move on from there?
So if I start with that, uh, when you say what you do when you have a tough times, as an entrepreneur, I can say that I am continuously living in the tough times. I have never seen a day, okay, that this is not tough for me, and this is not, this has worked for me very well, and everything has happened according to me. That I have never seen that day. So tough times. So we are in a habit of basically living in that times. Now, I don't know. Now we don't even notice. Okay, this was tough. So we just simply put that into our discussions, and we consult it with our team and all that, and we try to resolve that. So we know we see, don't even take it as a tough call. Although it is, sometimes it feels like, okay, this is getting more tough, this is getting tougher than before, and whatever it is. But we are now used to that, we are habitual of that, and we know that if we are not going to solve this thing, who will ever? So we are the ones who is to solve. So we got on to basically the solution part, rather than thinking about that, okay, our situation is not working according to me. So this is my take.
Yeah, so that means you're saying that we as entrepreneurs, when we are
Yeah,
in this journey, we build the
actually,
muscles. Actually, it's like going to
yeah,
the gym,
actually,
right? Every day we pick up the load and then we build the muscle
actually.
eventually. How about? you, Sneha, Dr. Sneha? So, how do you see these things?
So there is a very interesting book that I'm reading these days. It's called The Sedona Method. So it's by
Hmm.
Hale Dwoskin. So it's a very old book. It's not a very new book. It's a very old publication. And this book has chapter number 7 or 9. I might be wrong. It's an odd number, but where they teach you the method of releasing on your goals. Now, releasing on the goals is releasing on the hype. The only time you
Hmm.
find something tough is where you so want it to work and you can see it in front of you. Ye nahi ho raha. It's not working out. That is the only time when you think that, okay, now things are going tough. Otherwise, if you're doing something, you do it every day, it's happening, there's no problem. But when you see that, okay, I want this badly and this is not happening, then you can see it. That is the time you feel, okay, okay, now I'm stuck, right? So this book specifically teaches us, number one, to release on the goal, because they say that every time you make a goal, you're technically attaching to a want. So let's say my goal is to make 100 crores business. So what is the want? The want could be, I want approval from everyone that, see, I'm such a great super billionaire, businesswoman. Or the want could be that I have a want of security. I want to make sure that I make 100 crores so that I'm, secure. No, nobody can touch me. Nobody can, treat me anywhere else. So there are a lot of wants that they identify: want of security, want for approval, want for affiliation, couple of them. And they say that, accept that even if this goal doesn't happen, you will still exist. So not that you detach
Hmm.
from the goal, you stop doing it, but you're just, bringing the hype, the emotional attachment to it down. Because you must have seen, and I have, I have felt this, seen this all through my life. Anything that I very desperately tried, I don't have it. I don't have it. I desperately wanted to be a
Okay.
cardiologist, tried 3 times writing my medical exam.
Hmm.
I'm otherwise a 90 percentile in CAT, 99 in MAT, always a scholar. I could not get through because I was so desperate of making it. I don't know, probably I missed on doing it the right way. So I tell everyone who
Hmm.
comes to me with desperation is that first leave that desperation, because in desperation you will not be able to take sound decisions. You'll always be emotional. You'll try to figure out, fix everything, and you'll not do it the right way. You'll always take an emotional decision. You'll not take a rational one, understanding the process. So once you do that, then the second step they teach is to release all the steps that you think you need to achieve the goal. So first I make a goal, I divide it into steps, and then I use Sedona to release everything, and then I take action. I take action. It's not that I'm not taking action, but it's just that I bring the emotional attachment to it down. That keeps me in
Hmm.
peace. That keeps me in the moment, operating from now instead of operating from a panic. Because I've lived that life also, where I would be in panic of, doing something so desperately, and then it didn't happen. So the
Hmm.
more I stop, I stop controlling it, the more it falls in place. And control is open to both the outcomes. Jabki technically we know that if there is a chance of a head, there is a chance of a tail when you flip the coin. So we don't start crying when we flip the
Hmm.
coin कि नहीं, head नहीं आया, tail तो आ ही नहीं सकता. क्यों नहीं आ सकता? आ सकता है. So you have to be open to the possibilities, and that is the time you give yourself the opportunity to see the success. Otherwise, you
Hmm.
focus so much on not being a failure that you end up being a failure. That is the biggest loophole that we get trapped in, which I've seen myself also doing. And now once I'm out of it, I'm able to bring other people also, out of this particular vicious circle.
So thank
That's
you for the
great.
perspective,
Yeah.
Dr. Sneha. I think you have made me aware that okay, this desperation part is now what I'm trained for. I do not
We built our muscles on that.
we don't get desperate on the things. So that helps in solving it.
Yeah, and if they ask me this question again, so I will send them to you either or ask them to read Sedona. So
Absolutely.
that is that. And what I have seen in my perspective is we as individuals are always looking for rewards of certain kinds. So let's say when we
Mhm.
post. let's say we post a piece of content on any of the social medias, uh, we are desperately checking it again and again. Oh, acha, ab like aaya, and now there's a comment. Okay, there's a love sign, so that's good. We are growing. So that reward actually makes us so used to those things, I would say, that we forget that why initially, like why actually we were doing that. What was the purpose? What was the why, I would say. So that is one thing I've learned so far
Just
in my
adding
journey,
to
that
what you said, Jigar,
um
this want is actually the want for approval. You know you have put in good
yes.
content. Why are you not happy putting on the content? Why do you want 1 lakh other people to come and tell you that, see, there are 1 lakh impressions, there
True.
are 100 comments, there are 3,000 likes. That's why you're great. So that is where you stop living
Mhm.
inside and you stop depending outside. वो एक बार मिल गया अगर तो फिर you have to learn not to have it, because otherwise this run will never end. There's no end. You will always
Yeah,
keep running.
true,
Yeah,
true, true. My yeah,
yeah,
Bipanjeet,
I
go ahead.
follow
You go ahead.
the advice of Mr. Manish Pandey. He has visited Chandigarh quite a few times, and we interacted. Luckily, we interacted, and he is basically a coach of the content creators. So I followed his advice when I started creating content, because we have a YouTube channel as well. My wife runs that. So he says that you just close your eyes and keep on putting the content for at least 18 months. Then we'll figure it out.
Mhm.
Okay, this is not happening, that is not happening, this has not gone viral, this has not achieved rep. First, you do one thing, you just put on the content on regular basis without fail for 18 months. Then we'll figure out what to do next. उससे पहले मेरे से बात ही नहीं करनी. So we I follow that. So
So how much deep are you in? So how many months have passed
for
so far?
my YouTube channel that my wife runs, we are now about I think close to a year.
Okay, so let's give a quick shout out to the channel. What's the name of the
Uh,
channel? Maybe few of the people who will watch this video, because it will be there on LinkedIn forever. So, what's the name of the
it's
channel?
Ruby's Kitchen Stories. She shares
Okay.
basically her experience in cloud kitchen and the recipes and all that, and she shares. We are, matlab, we are constant in putting the content. We make sure we put 3 videos every week, and we are doing it from last 1 year now, and uh,
Mhm,
and the channel is also growing matlab, gradually. But
mhm.
I will consult again Manish Pandey only after this October or November,
18
when
months.
18 months will pass. Okay, this we have achieved. Are we on the track or not? What you suggest? So I take a call after 6 months now.
Mhm. And Dr. Sneha, so let's give a shout out to your channel as well. So, what's the name of the channel on
Oh,
YouTube?
not so active on YouTube. I'll try to put more data onto it. So for now, it's with the name, my brand name, my personal brand Jigarjit is same all across the social media. It's Sneha Sharma, the coach. So wherever you want to track me, I am going to be trackable from that particular name. And I also checked Bipanjeet sir's wife's channel, Ruby's Kitchen, that sir just talked about. It has 25K subscribers already, so it's definitely growing and looks thoroughly professional. So all the best, sir. I'm sure by 18 months we'll have a lot of inputs which are going to be, amazingly great.
Yes, yes.
Looking at the clock, I think we need to wrap up. I was so mesmerized with the talks. Really love to talk. You have seen me talk around, so I don't feel like going until the others say let's shut up and go. It's both Guru Gyan de liya, so it's time for us to say our goodbyes. But before we do that, one last thing I would like you guys to give us some more insights on. So let's say a person wants to go on a self awareness journey. So you, Dr. Sneha, you have put it time and again that knowing yourself is very important while we are on a journey. And Bipinji, I see that you are also like in lines with that. So any like 2 cents on the same thing, like how can one be self-aware? Because like the way we are sitting here, so we look at ourselves in a different way. So I might sitting here feel like a king, right? But in real life I might be a shitty person. So what is that journey to self-awareness?
Um, I always say that you communicate two ways. One is the external talk that we are doing right now, the other one is the internal one. So, the moment you become more aware about your internal communication, about your internal conversation, you're on the right journey, you're on the right path. Because the moment you start paying attention how you talk to yourself, you will know how much are you going to grow. Because if you talk to yourself in negative terms, you're going to see everyone else talking to you the same way. So if you do not feel that you're great or you're putting in the effort and people would love what you're doing and you're doing good for others, it is not going to be reciprocated. So my single mantra is that we always say that, okay, be positive, etc. So I do this with the help of an example, and I do it wherever I go. And whereas I'll request all your audience to just close their eyes and think about anything in their life, but not a pink elephant. Don't see a flying pink big elephant. Okay, think about anything else. And when I do this activity, sitting in the class, putting making everyone close their eyes, there's not even a single person who is coming up to me and saying that I did not see a pink elephant. Now, I told your mind not to see a pink elephant. You still saw a pink elephant. So that means the mind does not understand the not. So don't tell the mind,
Mhm.
I do not want an accident. I do not want to be unhealthy. Tell your mind what you want. It is going to, in Shah Rukh Khan's style, bring the whole kainat to work in your favor to get what you want. Single mantra. That's exactly one step you fix right now, and it's very difficult. It's very difficult. It sounds very easy, but if you are playing the game from the other ball, you're not, talking positively yourself, it is very difficult. You're not able to respect yourself in your own mind, and you want others to come and tell you, wow, you're great, you're amazing. Doesn't work that way. So my 2 cents would be, internal communication is the game changer. Talk positively internally. Do not use negative connotations. Mind does not understand a not. That's simple. Thank you.
Uh,
Love it, love
very
it.
right,
That was great.
rightly said by Dr.
Vipinji.
Sneha. See, for me, this self awareness journey is basically not, you can say that what helped me, I will share. Uh, I started reading books around 12 years back. So till now, I have read almost 120 plus books, mostly self help and on the entrepreneurial aspects only. So they have changed me. I can say that 120% from what I was 10, 12 years back. So now I realize that okay, I was not aware of that this thing. I was not aware of that thing. Uh, so it's a journey basically. So my 1 cent will be. I'll not give 2 cents. I'll be giving only 1 cent. Start reading books. So everything
Mm.
will happen. So uh, one thing I always relate to that. You know, there's a will of God in that. I come across that book which I need at that moment. Uh, Actually, when I was applying this goal setting thing, I came across a book which taught me about this, and it happens automatically. It's not me that I got to search that book, and it was lying on my shelf and I bought it a month ago, and when I picked up, it was exactly what I required at that time. So I now I can see that at when I started reading books, I got that type of books which brought positivity in me. So now I can realize that I was in a very negative time frame, if you talk about what I was 10, 12 years back. So this is a journey, and start reading books, and see yourself what you are going to be in the next 10 years. So it'll happen.
Really, Really, it's not just a cent, it's more than a gold bar you have given to us. Books actually help a lot. And coming to the conclusion, for me, this session was just as a child in Hamleys, maybe. I was so much loving the conversation, and towards the ending notes, I learned a lot. It was really insightful for both of you to share so many things with us, including personal stories and experiences, and the strategies we can use to moving forward. And I would now like to thank you both, and say a goodbye and good night to all our audience who joined us, and thanking them all to taking out time during the evening, busy evening schedules, and especially Dr. Sneha. So you have a little child at home waiting for you. So see you again soon, maybe in some other arrangement. But thank you guys for joining and giving me your time, and we are really we really appreciate
We
your
enjoyed a
time.
lot too.
Right. Thank you,
And,
everyone. Thank
and,
you.
and I think we'll be
Thank
meeting this Wednesday as well at your office, right? In the
yeah,
Digiwah.
yeah, we surely will. And Dr. Sneha is also going to meet me soon. So we are all meeting soon. But for today, it's a good night.
All
See you
right. Thank
guys,
you,
and thank you
everyone.
for
Thank you,
joining us.
Bipanjeet. Thank you, Jigarjit. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you, Snehaji. Thank you, Jigarjit, and the audience, the kind audience which have patiently listened to us. So thank you and bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you guys for joining us. This was it for the first webinar we tried, and see you. Hopefully, see you in the next one.